I thought this could be a fun idea for a video. This is the top 10 moments of Super Bowl 57. There's several to talk about, including some honorable mentions that'll stay, right off the bat before we get into the list. The A.J. Brown long touchdown definitely was a big moment, but is not quite on this list. That was number 11. I originally had it on the list, but then realized I had 11 things, so I had to take one off. That one was number 11. The doink I put on the list, not just the, it's always fun when there's a doink, especially in the Super Bowl, but also just the decision-making leading up to it of kicking the field goal on 4th down as well. In fact, I wrote just the Eagles' 4th down decisions on here, but I didn't think any one of those moments qualified to be put on this list. Also, both teams' opening drive touchdowns were very impactful, kind of let us know what game we were going to have, but none of those quite impactful enough to be on the top 10. So let's just get into it. The top 10 moments, and I'm just talking football moments. No halftime, no commercial. Let's get into it. Number 10, holding Philadelphia to a field goal late in the third. This was kind of an underrated big moment, I think, but it really, when you're watching the game, felt like it had a key impact. The Eagles had this incredibly long drive that took up nearly the entire third quarter to, put points on the board when they were up 3 points, and it felt like if they can get a touchdown here, it could be really difficult for the Chiefs to come back. Probably going to be down 10 points in the fourth quarter, so even if they score, it's going to be very difficult. The issue, of course, is just, they were not able to end it with a touchdown. They were held to just a field goal, which put them up 6, and despite the fact that they had been dominating so much, I remember even tweeting out, man, as much as they've been dominating, kind of feels like they're losing right now, and the Chiefs would, end up scoring 14 unanswered right after that to take an 8-point lead. Eagles don't go for it. This was in the fourth quarter at this point when the Eagles are up a point on a 4th down and 3, very reminiscent of Doug Peterson in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl in 2017, where Peterson went for it on a 4th down and 1, so a little bit easier, but still, teams went for it less than too, so you could argue a similar situation. The Eagles converted, and they were able to take the lead against the Patriots after being down, after the Patriots had their own big comeback. So the Eagles did not go for it, and of course, the bad punt that would ensue, leading to a big Kadarius Toney return, all of that kind of factors in. Definitely a big moment in this one. Number 8, I have a play that didn't happen. No touchdown given to Nick Bolton. This was on the debatable no catch call that some people disagree with. Some people like the call. I like the call, but I get why people didn't. It ended up being ruled no touchdown for poor Nick Bolton, who could have had a Super Bowl MVP. That was just a huge moment of basically we're all sitting there saying this could legitimately determine the Super Bowl if this is ruled a touchdown or not. Now, the Chiefs won anyway, but it was still, and it wasn't called a touchdown anyway, so the moment couldn't be higher on this list because of that, but still, it was definitely a big deal at the time. Number 7 is Jalen Hurts marching down the field after he just fumbled and gave the Chiefs 7 points, essentially. So now it's 14-14, all that hard work. Now we're tied. Jalen Hurts didn't miss a beat. He marched right down the field, had a rushing touchdown that put them up another 7 points, and they ended up having a field goal drive after that as well. So kind of his ability to rebound from his mistake was very impressive, as I'll be honest, when that Nick Bolton touchdown happened, I thought, here we go. Chiefs back in business. They're going to start, really playing very well. Didn't happen. Jalen Hurts rebounded very nicely. He did almost throw a pick. That was definitely something that, this narrative changes if he throws that pick right there. People say, oh, he melted down. But luckily it wasn't an interception, and he was able to make the most of it and get the ball into the end zone. Number 6, I think one that people have forgotten at this point, we're late in the first half. Mahomes was hurt for a bit, and it was we were wondering, is Mahomes going to be able to play? That was legitimately a question. I mean, Rappaport and Schefter were at halftime saying, tweeting out, okay, Mahomes is back out there. He's going to play. It was a question. And if Mahomes was not healthy, it's hard to imagine he wins. And again, the Eagles are probably Super Bowl champions had Mahomes stayed down in that situation. So that was definitely a huge moment in the game, kind of similar to the Nick Bolton no touchdown in that, looking back at it a week from now is not, you don't think about it as much because it didn't actually matter, but at the time it felt like it could have really mattered, and that's kind of the way I'm viewing this, is what were the big moments when we were watching the game. Number 5, back-to-back touchdowns for the Chiefs. This was, the fake motion plays, and just throwing them both in. I know it doesn't really count because that's not one moment, it's multiple moments, but they're close enough together. I'm going to count it as one moment because it did kind of feel like all of a sudden, the Chiefs just went off, and the Chiefs just in a blink of an eye went from trailing to having a commanding lead, going up 8 points, which, kind of another underrated thing. They could have gone for 2 there. Probably would have been the right move to go for 2, try to go up 9 points in that situation when your offense is rolling so much and your defense not so much. I'd rather a 2-point conversion be in your hands than in their hands, but they go for the back-to-back, they get the back-to-back fake motion plays to work against Kansas City. There was the 3-and-out by the Eagles in the mix there, and then the bad punt with a great return from Kadarius Toney on top of it. So, huge moment in the game, and really was kind of, maybe the moment in the game, honestly. Number 4, of course, this has to be on the list, the James Bradberry flag, which was definitely controversial. A lot of people really hated that call. I not so much. I understood why it was called. I also understand the frustration. I'm not sure if I would have thrown the flag, but I get why it was thrown. There was enough there, I think, to warrant a flag. It's more so people's issue is kind of the situation and the game had been called, the way the game had been called up until that point. I have another video coming out, should be today, I believe, today or tomorrow, coming out about the, just a deeper dive into that play and should it have actually been a flag or not. But at the end of the day, it was a huge play in the game as that essentially locked up the Chiefs' victory. I mean, the Chiefs would have still been up. They still would have been able to score 3 points and be leading in the Super Bowl. The Eagles would have had 2 minutes, but no timeouts. Probably not going to get a touchdown in that time, but have an opportunity for a field goal and have an opportunity for a touchdown as well. And the way their offense is going, I wouldn't bet against them necessarily. Instead, though, it is, the Chiefs just are able to kick a field goal with 8 seconds left. That kind of definitely, shifted the way the game had gone. Number 3, I'm going with Jalen Hurts ties it at 35. This was a huge moment in the game. I kind of thought the game was over. Once the Chiefs went up 8 points, I kind of said, all right, Eagles had a good run. This third quarter was just not your thing. Third and fourth quarter, just not your thing. Great season. You were the second best team in football. Jalen Hurts said, not so fast. We're not going down without a fight. With that, big completion to Devonta Smith, which was a great read by him to realize Smith was open, and then the ensuing touchdown. And I thought the best play was that 2-point conversion to tie it up at 35. I really didn't think I thought he was going to get tackled short. I thought that they had him, and he was able to power through, get into the end zone for a touchdown to tie it up. Never got the ball back, or did with 8 seconds, but basically never got the ball back, which was unfortunate, but still, what a moment to tie up a game that kind of felt like it was lost for Philadelphia. Number 2, if there's a defensive touchdown, it's going to be a big deal in a game, and especially this one, and when it happened. I mean, you think about if everything else stays the same, and this touchdown does not happen, that's a huge deal. I mean, the going down 17 at the half would have been brutal for the Chiefs. Being down just 10 does make you feel a little bit better when you get the ball back to start the half. All you need is one score. They get that score, and then it's like, okay, we're right back in business. This Nick Bolton touchdown felt like the Eagles could run away with things a little bit. He's able to instead get a scoop and score touchdown, put 7 on the board when you're on defense. That just, it's a huge deal in a football game. But of course, number 1, it's got to be the final field goal. It's got to be Harrison Butker putting the team up 38-35, which, it would have been a little bit more fun, I think, if it was just like 2 seconds left and it could have fully been at the last second, especially with, the Hail Mary attempt didn't even do anything. So would have been more fun potentially if it was just sort of a complete walk-off like we saw with Vinatieri. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. It was a field goal in the final 8 seconds to give the Chiefs the victory. Again, people were talking about the flag at that point. That maybe hurt the moment a little bit. I definitely think it did, but still an awesome moment and one we're going to see for decades from now. So, out of all these plays, what are the ones we're going to see the most years from now? It's the James Bradberry play, unfortunately, probably for the wrong reasons. And then it's going to be I think the Nick Bolton touchdown and the Harrison Butker field goal are probably going to be the main ones. Maybe that fake motion stuff we'll see a lot. And I think we'll see Jalen Hurts' ability to tie it at 35. That kind of stuff, a good amount. Those will be the things we see. So yeah, that's what I think about all this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.